Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center for a match between number 11 IPFW and Ball State. Both teams out here look real intense in the warm-ups. I think both teams are ready for tonight's match. One of the big questions in tonight's match is the injuries on IPFW. And here announcing with me is Jill Bogill, Jill Lyon, the setter for the women's IPFW Lady Dons volleyball team. And it just so happens her boyfriend, Norman Almodovar, is one of those big injuries. So we're going to let her give us some insight on what's going on with him and Felipe Verlaine.
I think they're both at about probably 60% tonight. I think they're ready to play, though. When emotions take over, I think they'll be ready to play. I'd say 60% ready to go.
I talked to Norman a little bit before the game in the locker room, and he said it ranges from 30 to 100. He said some days it hurts more than others. Now, last weekend I was down at 2 weekends ago I was down at Ball State playing with these guys, and they're not totally injury-free either. They have a lot of problems. Dave Bear has a bad ankle. Scott Oath has a bad back, so they're not injury-free. But they were ready to play, and they were all talking about the IPFW match. They've lost one conference match to Ohio State, so it looks like they're really psyched up for this one. They have to win this match to stay in the running. Jill Lyon here is the setter for the IPFW volleyball team. One thing I would like her to give me some insight on the two setters, Jean Chandel as opposed to Loy Ball.
I think that Loy has a lot of advantages against Sean because Loy's a lot bigger. He can put the ball outside when it's a tight pass, and I think that he is a lot stronger on the block. He can get to balls a lot quicker. I think Loy has better hands than John.
But John's also a great defensive player, so that kind of a matchup's going to be a good one for tonight. So we're going to get here to some volleyball in a few minutes here, so stay tuned.
How can you find out when lightning may strike? And how do you count the fish in the sea? How can you tell if a child is growing normally, if baseball is getting better, or traffic is getting worse? How do you know about stock market trends, the risk of cholesterol, the history of witchcraft, or the future of spacecraft? With statistics, that's how. And how can you find out about statistics? With the new Statistics series, Against All Odds.
Turn to find help for an elderly person you love. Call the Elder Care Locator at 1-800-677-1116.
Is a need in your own hometown. Please join your local chapter.
Watching College Cable Access Channel 6 at IPFW.
Welcome to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW for tonight's MIVA NCAA match between the Ball State University Cardinals and your IPFW Volleyball. This is Dan Gephardt along with Neil Day. Welcome to the action tonight.
This College Cable Access sports presentation is underwritten in part by a grant from Cable Access Incorporated of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Just getting ready to introduce the starting lineups. We'll send you down to the floor for that.
At outside hitter, a 6'4" senior from Racine, Wisconsin, number 2, Dave Baer. At center, a 6'2 senior from Muncie, Indiana, number 4, John Shondell. At outside hitter, a 6'1 senior from Muncie, Indiana, number 8, Craig Skinner. At middle hitter, a 6'5 sophomore from Racine, Wisconsin, number 9, Greg Romano. At middle hitter, a 6'4 senior from Whitefish Bay, Wisconsin, number 10, Bob DiDonato. And at opposite side, a 6'6 sophomore from Racine, Wisconsin, number 11, Todd Reimer. Head coach of the Cardinals is Don Shondell. And now for our IPFW Volleyball. At middle hitter, a 6'5 senior from Rochester, New York, number 7, Quinton Spiegel. At middle hitter, a 6'6 sophomore from Ponce, Puerto Rico, number 8, Felipe Roland. At swing hitter, a 6'1 senior from Cogas, Puerto Rico, number 9, Raul Papaleo. At center, a 6'9 junior from Woodburn, Indiana, number 10, Loy Ball. At middle hitter, a 6'5 sophomore from Galesville, Wisconsin, number 11, Peter Kuyak. And at opposite side, a 6'5 sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 12, Craig Spider Collins. Head coach of the Mastodons is Arnie Ball.
Looks like they announced Craig as a starter there, but he's not out on the court, so I'm not sure if his number was in the lineup or if there's a screw up there, but he might belong out there. If he does, IPFW could get a penalty and either a point or a side to the other team, but I doubt they made that kind of a mistake on the scorecard.
I would imagine you're right, Neil. I imagine it's just a mistake at the scorer's table, so we're going to go to our national anthem. And then I want to ask you a little bit about Ball State's feelings coming into this match here.
Okay.
Oh, say, can you see?
For over 2 millennia, Western society has generated a rich visual tradition of painting, sculpture, and architecture. What do these images mean? How can we understand them? Art of the Western world will take you on an exciting journey that will suggest answers to these and other questions. Beginning in ancient Greece and ending on the brink of the future, it will examine many of mankind's most enduring artistic achievements.
Carol.
Tom.
Some people still don't realize how space technology benefits everyone.
Well, you played a detective. Why don't you give them a clue and I'll be your helper?
Okay, partner. Look at this.
Without warning, hurricanes can take a huge toll in lives and property.
But with space satellites, we now have ample warnings.
And thousands of lives have been saved.
Hey, Carol, we're a great team.
We're a great item.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
Neil, as you look at this Ball State lineup, they got 4 seniors in the lineup and a sophomore and a junior. And they've lost IPFW 9 straight times, 11 out of the last 12, I think. What's in their minds? They've already lost once this year to the IPFW Volleyball.
Well, I certainly know about the 9 straight times because I was on the team for those 9 straight times, so that felt really good beating them like that. But I played in a tournament against these guys 2 weekends ago, and they were very pumped up and motivated, and they honestly believed they could beat IPFW. Their entire team, like you said with the seniors, is all back from last year except for one kid who wasn't even a regular. Every team in the conference has improved this year, but Ball State may be the team that has improved the most. And they're gaining on IPFW, but IPFW has more talent than them. If IPFW plays their game, they should have no problem winning. But Ball State could pull off an upset here tonight.
Well, Romano's going to be back to serve for Ball State, and they come off a big win after beating Penn State at the Rutgers tournament last week, so that's got to be a big boost for them, don't you think?
Penn State's a great team, and I wasn't there at the match, so I don't know how well Penn State played, but I tell you what, the IPFW's had some tough losses lately, and if Ball State beat Penn State, that means they're definitely capable of beating IPFW here tonight.
Well, we saw Penn State here not too long ago, and they played pretty well.
Definitely.
Now, Ball State must be an up-and-down team because they lost to Ohio State at home earlier.
Yes, that was right before I went down there to play them, and they seemed pretty. The ball was out of bounds, I think.
Ball was out. You're right. Looked like it was called in first, but he changed his mind.
At least he had the guts to change his mind. If you make a wrong call, you should immediately change it to the correct call.
Peter Kuyak back to serve for the Dons.
They were very flustered by that Ohio State loss, but I'm sure they're back down to earth now because they know the season must go on.
Kill by number 9.
But the thing about that loss was it put them in a very tough position. Now they're 0-1 in the conference. If they lose to IPFW tonight, they virtually have almost no chance of winning the regular season title in the conference. So this is a must-win situation for them tonight.
John Shondell back to serve.
Squirrel with the hammer.
Back row kill by Quinn Spiegel.
They're going to go a lot at DiDonato tonight because a lot of coaches will tend to go at the middle, number 10 on their team, because of all their players, his block may be the weakest. So you'll see IPFW go at him a lot.
Romano, out of the back row.
I had some wars against him. I have a lot of respect for him as a player. He's very, very tough, and if he gets hot, he can cause IPFW a lot of problems.
Dave Bear back to serve for the Volley Cards. Right now, it appears both teams trying to feel each other out. Nice dig in the back row. Nice block by Relat. Point, Ball State. Nice dig attempt by Kuyak, but the ball's wide. 1-0 early here in game number 1.
Wow, big block by Skinner. Ball State surprised me. They're very much a ball control team. They play great defense and they tip and roll shot a lot, and they're not big blockers. But here today, they've come out swinging hard at the ball, and they've blocked a few balls, and they're playing their typical good defense. So they put all that together. IPFW could have some problems.
Well, you got to feel, Neil, that these teams play each other so often that they've got to know tendencies and all those kind of things. I got to believe somebody's going to go up with Loy about every time he goes up to set for that dump. He's going to go up on a jump serve here.
You're 100% correct, Dan. You know these teams well. One thing with that, though, great dig by Norman.
Nice play by everybody. Couldn't get the ball over the net. Side out to the Volley Card.
One thing about them going up with Lloyd, though, they're also short, with the exception of maybe Romano, that none of them could stop Lloyd anyhow. So even if they send a man up with him, he's still going to get his kills because he gets up so much higher than they do. There was a net there, but it was missed. But Lloyd made a great one.
Nice quick attack by Pepa in the middle. Side out to the Volley-Dons. Pepe Relat back to serve.
It's a nice pass by Dave Bear.
IPFW not doing a real good job early here and getting up on the block.
Ball State has their ball control lineup out there with their outside hitters, Craig Skinner and Dave Bear, because they're two better passers. They also have two very good outside hitters in Tali Tolliver and in Paul Nikiforov, who are probably two of the best, if not the two best hitters on their team next to Greg Romano. But they've chosen to go with their ball control lineup, and it seems to be working for them now as they lead 2-0.
As you mentioned, 2-0, Ball State here early in game number 1. Raul Papaleo back to serve. Nice dig by Loy. Nice kill by Norman Amaldabar.
If you see a lot of that happening tonight, don't be surprised to see Tali Tolliver and Nikiforov come off the bench because they both put up a bigger block than the lineup they have out there. And one thing about Don Shondell, he will make hockey shift substitutions, meaning he will substitute his entire team at times. He won't think twice about it, so don't be surprised to see a lot of people in and out of the game for Ball State tonight.
Side out, Ball State. Craig Skinner back to serve. Not real powerful hit, but it gets down by Peter Kuyak. Side out.
Looks like Coach Ball's work with Peter's been paying off. I was in practice, and he had me working with Peter on swinging higher at the ball, and Pete swung really high there. He hit that ball at about 11.5 feet, and no one's going to stop him as long as he's hitting the ball that high.
Now we got a block on the ball. They were dug out of the back row. Norman Moldovar with the kill.
Norm Gorm, the quiet storm, looks like he's 100% to me. Jill Lyon before the game was talking about he was at 60%, but he looks sharp. And I think the intensity of this match will make him forget about the pain.
I thought we saw a little bit in last Saturday's match against Winnipeg. Both Norman and Pepa came in at the end, and I thought they played pretty well. And as you mentioned, I think they're looking pretty good right now. Quick attack, dumped by John Shondell, side out.
Shondell is a left-handed setter, so you will see that a lot from him because his left-handed arm is away from the net, and it's easier for a left-hand player to make dumps like that than it is a right-handed player.
Nice quick attack by Kuyak.
Kojak had a big kill there. He's looking sharp out there.
Side out. Peter back to serve.
I just spoke about Jill Lyon. I wanted to thank Jill for stepping in at the beginning of the game here and helping us out with the pregame.
Nice crowd here at the match night, Neil. Looks like just about every seat's taken. Some of the top corners are open.
Yeah, we have a bigger match here tonight than we did against Long Beach. Bigger crowd.
Well, I think, again, the rivalry between IPFW and Ball State is a well-known thing here in the community.
Norm Gorm, the quiet storm. He's limping when he's going back to serve, but when he's jumping, he looks sharp.
Well, Neil, you know how an athlete, you get in the game, you just forget about that pain, and you just play real well.
I had a toe injury, a sprained toe, much like what Grant Hill at Duke has this year, and it was very, very painful. But by the time, we got into the first game, it got warmed up, and it felt a little bit better, but there's a lot of pain after the match when you go home at night, and I know Norman will be feeling a lot of pain tonight when he goes home.
But if they win, it'll be good pain, so.
Yeah.
Call it touch at the net. Side out to Ball State. Bayer back to serve. Ball State serving pretty tough right now. IPFW having a little trouble with the pass. Oh, Pepa, nice hit. Nice save by Lloyd Ball. Nice attack by Felipe Relat.
Pepa who with the big kill there.
Lloyd Ball back to serve. Going to go up. Block at the net. But it goes wide.
Craig Skinner is great at tooling hands. That's what he and Dave Baer do best. Because like I said, they're not the bigger players, but they're very smart about where they hit. They do a lot of tipping, a lot of ball control things, and that's how Ball State wins matches. He will not do ball control things. Todd Reimer's a straightaway pounder, and he likes to hit the ball. He's the type of player we like to play against because we have a big block, and eventually we will get him, just like we did Hilliard in the match against Long Beach. The Skinners and the Bears are tougher for us because we're used to playing hardcore volleyball where you go and attack the ball. But Ball State likes to finesse the ball a lot, and that makes it more difficult on us.
Kill by Papaleo, side out to the Volleyball. Paper a lot back to serve. There's a block on Reimer.
Rawls' blocking technique is all world. Squirrel.
Spiegel and Kuyak.
Squirrel and Kojak.
As you mentioned, Neil, the coaches down there on the bench are always looking for tendencies, and they'll adjust at mid-game, they'll adjust between games, and we really saw that in the Long Beach match against Hilliard. They just really took him out of the game. Kill attack is wide. Point IPFW 5-3 here early in game number 1.
If it's happening out there, Coach Ball sees it, adjusts, and takes care of it 9 times out of 10. He will always make proper adjustments. They don't always work, but you always have to make adjustments to keep up with it. And Coach Ball is one of the best. Actually, he is the best bench coach in the country. He sees things, he makes adjustments, and that's why his team wins.
Kuyak and Spiegel again with the block. Timeout Ball State, their first timeout. IPFW leading 6-3 here in game number 1. I think it's important. IPFW is not necessarily a quick starting team, and it's good to see them come out and play real well here early in this game.
Here we see the Hulse family on TV. One thing I'd like to do really quick while we have a chance here, I'd like to thank you, Dan, for stepping in tonight. Dan originally wasn't supposed to work tonight's match, but he really came through for us at the last second to help us out with that. And also Jill Lyon, Jill Begill from the Hill, never ever worked and she never ever will for the game. She helped us out a lot by stepping in. I want to thank you both because you saved me from having to do this by myself.
No problem. The College Cable Access Program Guide provides information about our programming, including IPFW sports telecast. To receive your free Channel 6 program guide, send your name, address, and zip code to Channel 6 at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805, or call us at 481-6000. Paper Relat back to serve. Quick attack in the middle by number 9, Romano. Side out to the volley cards.
When I played, there were two middles who I had a lot of problems with stopping, Greg Romano and a guy from USC by the name of Jason Perkins. They both are very quick hitters, and they make it very hard for you to stop them on the block, so look for Romano to have a big night.
Outside attack by Quentin Spiegel.
Squirrel's hot. He's off to a good start. I think he has 4 or 5 kills to this point early in the first game.
Loy's doing a pretty good job of distributing the ball right now, Neil.
As Loy always does.
Oh, nice play by Norman.
There's a touch there. It was a great play by Raul to see it and play it. Oh, that was a little bit of a lift, but Patty let it go.
You got to play. Norman Loy from the back row. Point IPFW. 7-3. Raul back to serve again.
Raul Papaleo, he's one of the best servers. Remember the Wisconsin match, he had a big night serving. If he can do that again here tonight, they should have no problem winning.
Oh, nice dig by Loy. Kill attack is long, though. All right, IPFW playing with a lot of intensity right now, though, Neil. Digging a lot of balls in the back row, and we haven't seen a lot of that. They've had a couple matches in the string where they haven't played well, where they've had very few digs.
Well, from what I can gather from my roommate Steve Simonson and a couple other players, they had a really great practice yesterday. They practiced at a very high intensity level, and that's really good before a big match like this to have a great practice the day before, because it means you're going to come out and play sharp and early going.
Paper lap from the back row. Well, most of our viewers probably know that this team had some adversity with injuries and some illness and some other things happening, and oftentimes that will bring a team together and they'll do real well.
Well, yeah, they have had some injuries. It's Norman and Felipe, but it looks like those two are playing. Felipe with a big dig there and the kill off the block by Squirrel. You know, it looks like they're playing well with their injuries, so if they can play it, 90, 100%, and the IPFW plays like they can, there is no way that anybody in the MIVA can defeat them.
Here's Nikiforov. You mentioned he'd be in the lineup. Here he comes. Quentin Spiegel back to serve. Oh, nice play.
Oh, Norm just took John Shondell to town, and they called a replay. I don't know about that. You see how much Norman's been in the weight room, how much stronger he is. Shondell had no chance on that ball. Norm stuffed it down him. It should have been IPFW's point. However, the correct ruling on that is a replay, so I guess she did make the right call. I'd like to see that ball called down for a point, though.
Reimer from the back row.
Ooh. Is he okay? He just landed on a ball there. He rolled over it, but Papa's indestructible. I've seen him do some crazy things to his body and just get up like it never happened, so he's a tough guy. He's like RoboCop.
Greg Romano serve.
Ooh,
service ace.
Serve.
8-4 ball. 8-4 IPFW.
After watching that pass, I have to wonder if Norman's ankle, jumping he looks good, but his lateral movement, it may cause him some problems with that, and with passing, that's the most important thing. So if they serve him to his left, he may have some problems going that way.
Quick attack out of the middle by Kuyak. And you're right about that. I saw Norman last Saturday night in that Winnipeg match, and I thought that he had a lot of trouble moving laterally. He jumped pretty well, but moving laterally was a real problem for him. Kuyak back to serve. Block in the middle by Relatna Moldovar.
Pava just took the joker out right there. Pava's going to, number 14, I don't remember his name. I know he didn't get a lot of time for them last year.
Hollinger.
Tony Hollinger. I'm surprised not to see Scott Oath in there. I figured their first substitution in the middle would be Scott Oath, who's a very good player out of the middle and a big blocker.
John Shondell back to serve.
It's a great serve by Shondell.
Back row attack, or excuse me.
No, she called him over. She said the ball was on their side of the net. When the ball is on the other team's side of the net and not along the plane of the net, you're not allowed to touch it. And they say Loy reached over and touched it on their side of the net. That is why the point went to Ball State.
9-5. Spiegel out of the back row. No, called it hit the antenna.
No, it didn't hit the antenna. They said it hit the net. And
not a hand?
The ball will often hit the net and give the illusion that it was touched by the block when it never actually was, because the net sometimes causes the trajectory of the ball to change. It looks like a touch when it really isn't. I think that was a good call by the officials and the line judge there.
Shondell continues to serve. IPFW struggling with his passing right now.
Wow.
Kill by number 5, Nikiforov.
Nikiforov earlier in the year was not starting. He didn't play much against us when we played them here for the A6 qualifier. I played against him a couple weeks ago, and he's looking sharp.
We'll be right back after this short message.
Jobs. It's top priority with many Hoosiers today. Good jobs with good futures. That's what Ivy Tech in Fort Wayne specializes in, training good people for good jobs. The skilled jobs Indiana's future needs.
Ivy Tech, what Indiana needs to grow. Call for enrollment information.
Play got started a little early before we got back from the timeout. And it's a point to Ball State.
IPFW just had a big stuff there that we missed, but what happened was Lloyd Ball was in the net off the stuff, so what was the call? I didn't see it.
I'm not sure. They're giving it to IPFW.
I believe he may have been out of the serving area. You have to be within those. If you look on the court, you'll see 2 white hash marks back there. And if you're to the left or right of those hash marks and you contact the ball or you toss up for a replay, it's an illegal serve and the ball go over to the other team.
Whose call is that, Neil? Is that is that any one of the officials, including the linesman?
I believe the linesman can help out on it and call it and go tell the up official, but 9 times out of 10, the up official will call that because she has the best angle, and anything is her call, so she's the most likely to make that call.
10-7. Norman Amaldavar serves short. Side out to Ball State. Tolly Tolliver coming in for the Ball State Cardinals.
I told you he's going to make hockey shift substitutions, and Tolly played really well when I was down there a couple weekends ago, and he could have a big match for him tonight. You know, he has Fort Wayne ties. His father, Rye Tolliver, coaches girls volleyball at Northside High School, and he played there as well. So he has a lot of hometown fans who are rooting for him.
Nikiforov serves into the net. Lloyd Ball back serve. Looks like it's going to go up.
Tolly with a good pass there.
Ball hit into the net, though, by Romano. Point IPFW.
This passing technique they're using gives Romano, makes him pass and still have to hit. That's why he got there late, because when you pass, it's a lot harder to get there on time to hit the ball. As a result, he hit the ball in the bottom of the net.
Is that a poor setting choice then, Neil?
In that situation with the jump serve and having to use 3 passers, it is.
Nice kick by Kuyak. Nice set by Ball. Nice kill by Papaleo. 12-7.
Most teams regularly use 2 passers, but on a jump serve, they use 3 because there's more court to cover because the ball comes faster. When that third person is passing, that means they can't be a back row attacker because they don't have time to pass and hit. That's why he was late getting there.
They're going right after Tolly Tolliver. But Reimer gets it down.
He's a hammer. One player that could do that, pass and still hit the ball in the back row, was Fred Malcolm. But most players have a lot of problems doing that. That's why most teams try and jump serve when the big back row attackers in the back to force them to pass.
DiDonato back in the lineup, and he'll serve for the Volley Cards. Nice pass by Raul. Back set.
Great dig by
well
Shondell.
by Shondell.
He's one of the best defensive players in the country, but Papa will get him. They dug him again.
Reimer on the outside. There, I think we saw a little bit of Norman having some lateral movement trouble. Looked like he was in position, but the ball went off of a partial block, and he couldn't move.
Well, he's got some sweet shoes on, so it must be his ankles. It ain't those shoes, because they look good. Oh.
Miscommunication on IPFW's part. We've seen that a number of times this year, Neil.
And last year, deja vu from the Stanford match. There'll be some communication problems. 2 players will try and attack the ball, and as a result, it goes in the bottom of the net.
Papaleo hits a flyer.
They're back in this match, 12-10. They've got us in the tank right now. We've got to come out of it here. I say chances are that Lloyd's going to set squirrel here, or Quentin Spiegel, because he's going to be the big gun to get us out of it off of a good pass. There was a bad pass forced us at the outside. But there we got the net. Good.
Actually, I like that Raul didn't have a real good series there, but Lloyd kept going back to him to get his confidence up. And I think by being able to get that side out, that's real important for Raul right now. Chad Blatchley in the lineup. There you go.
Some energy for us.
Came in real well, played real well last Saturday night against Winnipeg.
Almost every match he comes in does a good job for us off the bench. Raul is a big gun for us, so we should go to him as much as possible, but so is Quentin. We have a lot of big guns out there, so Lloyd has a lot of options to go to.
There again, you see Norman having trouble moving. Reimer back to serve.
It's always harder to move on a ball, on a hard-driven ball off the spike. Just have to hold your ground and try your best to dig it. Norman almost had that one. Peter swinging high. He's doing a good job. He's a little bit off on his timing there. Tolly
gets through the block.
Tully's timing was off a little bit there, but he did a good job of recovering and getting the kill there. Tully's playing well. He's got to make his dad Ryan proud up here, because I saw his father here in the stands tonight, so Tully's going to play extra hard for the hometown fans here.
12-11. Reimer back to serve again. Ball State serving pretty tough. But Papaleo gets it through the block.
Papasan, if he gets hot, it's over with.
Well, Loy saw that he had him one-on-one with Shondell, and as you mentioned, Ball State not real big, and Papaleo went right over the block.
Not a good pass by Nikiforov, but Shondell made a great set. Romano running that backslide, often seen in the women's game, and he can be very successful with that. He's such a versatile hitter.
Nobody was up at all with that one. Tolly Tolliver back to serve.
It's a good serve by Tolly, forcing Norman to move. They're going to attack Norman tonight because of that ankle.
Spiegel from the outside, inside out.
Nikiforov, as you know, is not one of their better passers, so they're going to go at him and Tolly both, as opposed to Skinner and overpass by Tolly. You'll see that from these two. They're not that they're bad passers. At the level that they're at, they're good passers compared to the average volleyball player, but here at the college level, they are lesser passers than Skinner or Bear on their team, even though they both are good passers. But they're both going to have some problems because IPFW are such good service.
Attack is long.
However, what they do have by having Nikiforov and Tolliver out there is a much bigger lineup, stronger hitters, and bigger blockers.
14-11. Quentin Spiegel serving for game number 1. The IPFW crowd on its feet as it becomes a tradition here.
Let's take them out right here, fellas. Clamp that. See ya.
Ball into Moldovar with a block straight down.
And I wouldn't want to be it. They look pumped up. Ball State's going to have problems tonight. They made a good job coming back there, but IPFW is playing consistent, and if IPFW plays like this, there's absolutely nothing Ball State can do.
Well, Ball State had a couple of runs there where they served 3 or 4 points in a row, and IPFW's got to make sure they don't allow Ball State to get back in the match by running off those series of points like that. Exactly.
IPFW, you took the words out of my mouth. IPFW plays very much up and down.
There you're going to see a replay of the last block. IPFW did a good job just keeping the ball alive on the first series.
Sit out
here
there.
You go.
Now, if you fans notice there, Loy was on the left side, and he came around to the middle of the block. That's what's called stack blocking. You put in order to do that, the person who is stacking, which was Loy there, who came from behind, has got to be a very, very quick and agile person who can read the other team very well. He did a good job of stepping around there, and when we come back from break here, I'll explain the stack blocks to you a little bit more.
And we'll be right back for more IPFW volleyball action right after these brief messages.
It's the basic argument of this lecture that the schools principally function to reproduce patterns of inequality in the society. We are also training children to be patriotic, non-critical Americans.
Mental illness. We fear it. We laugh at it. We scorn it. We think it's shameful. But these are misunderstandings. Misunderstandings that will fade away if we see mental illness for what it really is. A medical disease. A disease that can be treated if you just know where to turn. For an informative booklet, call the American Mental Health Fund.
I believe that we can restore prosperity.
For over 40 years, the primary responsibility for shaping America's economic policies rested with the office of the president. To learn how these decisions are made, how they affect you, enroll in the Economics USA telecourse. It's an education for life.
Welcome back. IPFW wins game number 1, 15-11 in this best of 5 NCAA MIVA match. Right now, IPFW is 1-0 in the league. Ball State's 0-1 in the league. As Neil mentioned early in game number 1, it's real important for Ball State to win this match, to have very much hope of getting that number 1 seed in the MIVA tournament.
Definitely. IPFW is undefeated in MIVA play for the past 2 years, ever since that big recruiting year where he brought in Loy, Norman, Quentin, Larry Fulgeri, and myself. We haven't lost a match in MIVA competition, including postseason tournament. So he's looking to keep that streak alive here, and it looks like after that first game they're gonna. But IPFW, as you said before the break, is capable of playing very up and down, and their record indicates that this year. They cannot let Ball State get back on the match here. Shot of Shondell there. He looks very disgusted with something, and I think it's his team's play, but he's trying his best right now to get them motivated and up out there so they can maybe come back and try and get in the game with.
And beside him is one of his sons, and in the foreground, number 4 is his other son. A unique match here in that we've got 2 coaches who have a lot of NCAA experiences with sons setting for both teams. It makes for a unique rivalry.
Definitely.
And right now, Arnie's got the advantage since Loy's been here as a freshman.
Yeah. Scott Oates in the game now, number 15. Look for him to have some big, strong kills. He's a big man and a big blocker.
Kuyak with a block down, but it's Doug.
Ball's back to Squirrel. See ya.
Kill by Spiegel.
Squirrel's hot. He's been having a great match right now, and I'm really impressed with some of the things he's been doing.
Point to IPFW. Papaleo back to serve.
You're talking about Shondell's son. His one son on the bench next to him is the coach for the Muncie Burst team, which won the state championship this year, but lost last year to our very own Snyder Panthers here in Fort Wayne.
Nice dig by Relat.
There's Nikiforov with that hammer arm.
But IPFW doing a good job at the net and in the back row, and Spiegel gets it down again.
Squirrel's on fire. Gotta get some water to cool him off because he's on fire.
If IPFW keeps this defensive pressure up, Neil, I don't think that Ball State can do much about it.
Right now we're out defense in Ball State, which means we're beating them at their own game. Oh, Normal Gorm. There she goes. It's an exact replay of what happened in the first game. Same 2 players, same situation. Normal Gorm stuffed him again, and she calls the replay. Technically, Patty made the right call. IPFW is disgusted about it, but it is the right call. But we like to see the stronger player win. May the best man win, and it was Norman both times, and I think we should have gotten both of those points. You'd like to see that.
Well, apparently IPFW doing the same thing that Ball State's trying to do with the setter. Now somebody's going to go up with Loy, and apparently Norman's going to go up with Shondell in a particular rotation.
Definitely. Because Shondell's left-handed, like you said, he doesn't have the power that Loy does, but he's quick. He's very quick at that attack, and because he's left-handed, he can get it down.
Papaleo continues to serve. IPFW leads 3-0 here.
Okay, Nikiforov and Bear are now in the game. You want to serve Nikiforov.
Nikiforov through the block.
However, Nikiforov's a better hitter than Bear, so it'll be interesting to see what IPFW does here.
You know, it's interesting. It appears that they've been using Oath as just a decoy. They haven't set him yet, and he's a big player up there.
He's had some back problems. I talked to him a couple weekends ago, and he said that he was getting close to 100%. So I would assume he's 100% by now, but you never know. He may have re-injured it.
You know, he's only 6'5", but he actually looks pretty strong.
Oh, he's very strong. I've arm wrestled with him a couple times, kidding around, and he's got a lot of power in his arms.
Kuyak is long. Point Ball State, 3-2. Every time IPFW takes advantage, they let Ball State right back in the game.
You know, you mentioned something at the break that Ball State makes so many substitutions. It's hard for us as announcers to keep up with them. So I was talking about with Shondell and his hockey subs, because he will just bring everyone on that bench into the game throughout the course of this match in key situations.
Nikiforov, 3-3.
IPFW tried to run an X cross there, which is when you bring the guy on the right side around behind the middle hitter, and the block goes up with the middle hitter. By the time they come down, the second guy's hitting the ball. It's too late, but there was mistiming on it, and it failed to work there. But you'll see it again from him, and it should work later on.
Bad pass by Papaleo. Gives no chance to run the offense. Ball State digs it well, gets it back for another point. Shondell serving 4 here in a row.
It's great defense by Ball State. They're starting to pick their level up. A lot of points scored here early in this first game. It's 4-3 already, and we just got started. Papa with the dig. Whoa, there's going to be 4 hits here.
5 straight points by Shondell. I've always been impressed with Shondell serving ever since he came in here as a freshman. IPFW takes a timeout. They don't want to let Ball State build too much momentum here.
You know, it's amazing how much insight you have on the game and how observant you are of the players, because you you're thinking the exact same things I am, because Shondell is such a great server, and that's probably the best part of his game, that and his defense.
Tune in to Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. to watch the Lewis University Lady Flyers take on the IPFW Lady Dons. Then at 8, the men's teams from Lewis University and IPFW compete for a slice of the GLVC Conference. Catch all the action of IPFW basketball right here on Channel 6. There's some of the young fans. You and I were talking between games. We think this is one of the larger crowds of the year.
Definitely.
More than we had at Long Beach, and maybe as much as we had for Ball State the first time we played them back in January. Quentin Spiegel with the attack long.
It's the first one I think Squirrels hit out of bounds. He's been, doing a good job of hitting, but IPFW's in one of those ruts that you were talking about.
But I know that Arnie's been real frustrated with that. Neil, he wants consistency, and he's particularly looking from his two seniors, Papaleo and Spiegel. They got to get that ball in play.
Coach Ball, you feel sorry for him. I, having been a coach, know what it's like, because when you can teach your team all kinds of things, strategies, plays. I mean, I can go on down the list, but you can't make them do it out there on the court. They have to do it themselves. You can only teach them and have them go out there. And IPFW has been going hot and cold, and that's one thing you can't control as a coach. All you can do is make subs, which he's tried, but it hasn't helped much. So we're hoping they can get it together on their own out there.
Reimer with the kill. Side out to Ball State. Nikiforov.
Norm Gorm with the roll shot. Block was up on him there. Oath, a bigger blocker than what they had in there with DiDonato, and that's making a difference here. Pete touched that ball, so it was a great dig back there by Felipe. Here comes Norm Gorm, the quiet storm. See ya.
It's a good block. I thought Lloyd took real charge there. Looked like it was going to be not a poor dig, a great dig, but it wasn't going to make it to the front row, and I thought the back row was going to set the ball. And Lloyd called whoever it was off and set that ball up there to Norman.
Norman's grimacing in pain here. He, after that kill, he walked around, and I don't know if you guys can see it from up here because we're kind of far away from the court with the camera angle, but he's been walking around. You can tell he's in pain out there. It doesn't look like it when he's jumping, but I can tell. He's playing a lot of pain right now. He has a lot of guts. Big match, so he's out here for
it. Spiegel from the back row. Side out IPFW. It remains 6-3 here. Game number 2. IPFW won game number 1, 15-11.
If this were a Big Ten basketball game, this would be IU and Michigan, and these guys aren't going to miss it for anything. They could have, they could have a broken leg and they'd still be out here playing. So they're showing a lot of character by being out here. They're going to play through this one because this is the biggest match of the year up to this point.
Good serve by Moldovar. But Dave Bayer hits it down the line.
Bayer, the thing about Bayer is I said he was one of their better ball controllers, but Bayer can be one of their best hitters at the time. He is very hard to predict what he's going to do. He's capable of doing almost anything and capable of also not doing almost anything. So if the good Dave Bayer shows up here tonight, he will wreak much havoc on the IPFW volleyball team because he can be a world-class player.
Shondell tried to take it over early and was blocked back down. Lloyd Ball.
He's the only player on their team with national team experience. He played with me in the Olympic Festival twice in 1990 and 91, so he has had some experience with the national team. So that's going to help Dave Bayer out a lot.
Reimer with a back row kill. Side out to Ball State.
Wow.
Papaleo.
I wish we could see a replay on that because his explosion off the ground, going against the grain of the ball and getting up in the air is just amazing.
Well, and that's got to be tough because you're going the opposite way of the hand you want to hit the ball. It's got to be timing perfectly.
He's the best in the country at doing that.
Service ace by Peparala.
It seems like I'm a broken record because it seems like every time the IPFW has a match, I talk about Raul being the best at something in the country. But I honestly feel that way. He is the best at almost everything he does. Felipe with 2 great serves in a row. Felipe's capable of serving really tough, too.
Well, I would agree with you about Raul's potential. I don't think he's played to his potential this year all the time. as you mentioned, he played really well against Wisconsin-Milwaukee, but I haven't really seen that level of consistency out of Raul all night. Now, he's playing pretty well tonight, and that's real important, I think, in this match.
It's nice that you're here to bring that up because, you know, he's one of my friends, and sometimes my vision's a little bit clouded about these guys, in case you've noticed. And you're right, Raul has not played to his potential, but except in the Wisconsin match.
He played that was one of the best matches I've ever seen him play. His serving that night was just unbelievable.
But he's still a great player, even when he's not at his potential.
Right.
And he will get started before this year's over. He's a senior, and he's not going to go out like that. And believe me, when he gets up to his potential, nobody's better, and nobody will stop him.
Romano back to serve. 6-5. Nice dig by Reimer. Back row to Romano.
There's Romano cheese. They can't stop him when he gets hot. I have a lot of respect for the guy. Had some serious battles with him when I played for IPFW. He's one of my biggest opponents. And if he gets hot, they're going to have a lot of problems with Ball State tonight.
Papaleo off the block. Side out to IPFW. Raul back to serve.
Right now, even though he's not playing his best, he's still doing a great job, like you said, going against the momentum of the set and cutting it back into the court. He's doing a great job.
Raul's going to go up. We don't see him go up much, but that was a nice serve. Romano up the back.
It's a great jump serve. That's a lift.
Great block by Kuyak. 8-6.
One thing I love about Raul, even when the chips are down, he always plays the same. He keeps his head up, he never lets anything fluster him, and he tries his hardest. Great serve by Papa. A great pass by Dave Baer.
Nice kill by Nikiforov.
I thought Raul might serve at Nikiforov there. One, because he's front row, and if you serve at the front row attacker, it takes him longer to hit the ball. And also, Dave Baer's a better passer than Paul Nikiforov, so they might want to try serving at Nikiforov when he's in the front row.
Reimer with the kill attempt.
Great set by Loy Ball.
Oh, nice dig. Nice
Warm
dig
Gorm,
by
quiet storm.
Raul.
Rising up above him.
What a great dig by Raul Papaleo. Point IPFW, 8-7, I believe.
Boy just made an amazing athletic play to set that ball. He was so close to the net that he actually squared his body with the net and sideways set the ball. And there aren't too many setters in the country that can do that in a game situation and have the precision setting that Loy Ball just showed there. Amazing play.
Well, that was just a side out, so it remains at 8-6.
Loy to block him, boy. He's back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
8-7.
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Quentin Spiegel.
Better look out, Reimer. He's back. He got Hilliard a few weeks ago, and this might be the sequel with Todd Reimer.
Spiegel's going to go up. We're seeing a lot of jump serves tonight from IPFW.
Coach Ball is using his mastery of the game here by putting Loy out there on the right side against their big hitter, Todd Reimer. And Reimer knows that he looks a little bit scared to me. If Loy gets hold of him like he got hold of Hilliard, forget it.
Spiegel's blocked by Bayer. Point to the volley cards. 9-7. Nikiforov to serve.
Net
serve.
Ball barely grazed the net. It's kind of hard to tell at home, but it nicked the net, and Patty's right on top of it, and she called it. Now, I have a lot of respect for Patty Salvatore. Even as a player, I had a lot of respect for her, but I've had some experiences reffing recently in the past couple of weeks, and I've reffed before, but I've learned a lot. You know, these guys out here, they're doing a real good job. It's hard to see everything, and there's a lot of pressure on them.
Well, that ball's traveling somewhere between 90 and 110 miles an hour. It's difficult to see.
Especially, great block by Felipe. Especially when players are always yelling at them, and players don't really realize. I know when I was a player, didn't realize the tough job they have up there, and you're only concerned about yourself and not about the ref. And the refs are doing a great job up there.
Scott Lauer came in with that last side out and is serving. Pepa Relat tried to set, goes through his hands.
Little parquet hands there. He had the margarine on him.
Tried to do a little jump set.
At least it didn't hit him in the face. I've had that happen to me in a game. It hit me in the face. It's one of the most embarrassing things.
Bob DiDonato going to come in for the volley cards and serve.
If you notice, DiDonato's coming in the back row, but he can also play front row. But he took Oath out because Oath's their big front row player. Now, if he puts Oath back in, it'll be when DiDonato gets to the front row, or he may let DiDonato play all the way around. That's the one nice thing about having a versatile player like that. But Oath is definitely a better front row player than Bob DiDonato.
Great hit by Norman off the block, out of bounds, side out to IPFW.
For those of you at home who are trying to learn how to block, don't watch Todd Reimer. He turned his hands the wrong way. Where'd that ball go? It went right into the crowd. You have to turn your hands into the court in order to block balls.
Norman's going to go up. Oh, great serve by Norman Amaldivar. But a great dig. Hit by Reimer's long.
Reimer's asking for a touch. I didn't see one.
I didn't see it either, Neil.
But there may have been, but he's a little frustrated right now. I think it's because of that block. He knows he should have turned his hands in, and now he let it get to him on the next play.
Norman hits it long with a jump serve.
Reimer's a big hitter for them, and he's like their Hilliard. He's their big gun they go to. But see, the thing is, he's only a sophomore, and it shows there because he wasn't ready for the next play. He doesn't brush off mistakes very well. And as long as IPFW can get him down in the dumps, Ball State can forget about him because he's not going to play well unless he's up. Now, on the other hand, when he gets on a roll, you're going to have a lot of problems with him because he is one of the hardest spikes in the country.
Well, IPFW is really trying to be aggressive. They've sent just about everybody up tonight, and we haven't seen that all year. Now, their serving has not been that good this year, so maybe they've decided that, well, if we're going to make some serving errors, let's make them make it tough. And they've sent Raul up tonight. Norman's going up. Quentin's going up. Lloyd's going up. We've seen 4 of the 6 go up off that serve, and they've been fairly successful. They were down here, I think it was 7-3 at one point in time. They've come back at 9-9, and Ball State takes this time out to try to regroup.
That's a very good point. You know, Ball State has had some problems passing jump serves against other teams, so that's why they're doing that, and it's working. IPFW, Coach Ball does a good job mixing up the serves. If you look at all 6 players on the floor as a unit, like a pitcher in baseball, each server has a different serve, and that's like a different pitch for a pitcher. So you throw a knuckleball, a fastball, a curve, and that throws the other team's passers off, and they can't get entrenched. For those of you who play baseball, you know if a pitcher keeps throwing fastballs at you, they're going to become a lot easier to hit by the 5th inning or so. But if they're throwing a curve, breaking ball, this and that, it becomes harder to get, you know, they expect it, and it becomes harder to pass the ball as the game goes on. You can't get dug in on anything.
Oh, nice dig by Norman.
Big mishap there. IPFW got a lucky point there because Quentin did a great job of hitting that. Scott Lauer, number 3, is their backup setter. And he's a great setter. But the rule is, and any coach will tell their players this, if the setter can set the ball and they don't call for help, the setter sets the ball. So Scott Lauer needs to get out of Lloyd Ball's way and let him set that ball.
Miscommunication on the Ball State Valley Card side. 11-9, IPFW.
I'm really surprised. I thought Ball State would be more prepared for this match. They're falling apart. They don't seem very focused. They're hanging their heads, and they're showing a little bit of inexperience here. Even though they all were veterans from last year, they're all still young and not many seniors on this team.
Well, I got to believe that loss to Ohio State at home really had to do something to them as far as their MIVA mentality.
Yes, but I think that's history with them because after beating Penn State out at Rutgers.
You think it's all over with?
Yeah, I know when I played for IPFW, we've had a couple tough losses, but not in the conference. But after a tough loss, you want to come back and rebound, and they did that. We forget about it and move on with the rest of our season. But you're right, that may still be lingering in the back of their mind. They also may be timid because they realize they have to win this match to stay in the running. They lose this match, then it's going to be a race between Ohio State and IPFW, which IPFW will win.
Service there by Pepa Ralat, side out to Ball State.
I can honestly say that these are number 1 and 2 teams in MIVA, even though the standings may not show that. IPFW being number 1, Ball State being number 2. But the standings don't always reveal who the best and worst teams are.
Well, Ball State's going to have the advantage at MIVA time because they're going to host the MIVAs this year.
Great play by Norm Bogorm. Oh.
Raul Papaleo.
Norman Almodovar played that ball off the block. He was deep where he's supposed to be on defense. You try and teach your players in the middle back to stay deep, and that's why on that play.
Yeah, he was at least 2 feet deep, but that was off a touch, and that was a great dig by Norman.
Great play.
Raul Papaleo back to serve. Going to go up again. Would have been out, I believe.
Oh. That ball still in play. It went up over the curtain, didn't touch anything. If it would have touched it, it would have been out. Felipe had a shot at that. He could have played it.
Nice serve blow by Raul Papaleo. John Shondell back to serve for the volley card.
Here's their big server. Here's what they need to score some points with the good server back there. But serving at Raul, you're not going to score any points, but he's the best passer in the country. See you later.
That may be the best that I've seen Pepa hit the ball this year. And that's on a sore ankle.
Pepa out of the back row is a phenomenal hitter. Sometimes I honestly believe he hits better out of the back row than he does out of the front. Actually, I do believe that. He does hit better out of the back row than he does out of the front.
He digs well right there.
Tremendous back row hitter, Felipe Relat.
Nice dig by Raul.
Squirrel. Great dig by
both
Dave
teams
Bear.
Playing good defense right now.
Here comes the Kieferov. Use the block, net on Norman Gore.
Into the net. Side out. Nikiforov back to serve.
Nikiforov and Romano were their big guns last year, but this year Nikiforov has been on the bench a lot, so it's good to see him playing here for their sake, because that means his game's coming back around.
Kuyak out of the middle. Side out to the Volleyball.
One thing about these two teams is, I honestly believe, of all the teams in the country, I think you're looking at the two teams here with the best benches, the two deepest benches with the most players who can come in and play at the same level as the starters. So you have two very good benches here with both of these teams.
Lineman calls it in. Bayer with the kill. Side out. Bob DiDonato.
Even though Santa Barbara and a couple other teams out west have very good benches as well, but these two may be the best two benches.
DiDonato into the net. Service there.
Choke serve there. That hurt them there. They need the rebound here inside out. IPFW needs to put the pressure on him here and take this game and get it over with.
Norman gonna serve. Stays down on the floor.
Great serve by Norman. But Dave Bear is a great passer. He passed nail there.
Oh, what a block by Relat and Papaleo.
Ball State always does good coverage. And Nikiforov was down. Got that ball. It was a great play. Loy. Ooh.
Loy blocked by Romano and Reimer.
Looks like Romano stopped me there in the middle of my sentence. But it was kind of a low set. Loy was a little bit late getting there, but they'll come back right here and get a side out. They just switched their passing formation, so Raul can pass left now. Often they'll do that, ball out of bounds. The passers, as long as they don't overlap, will often switch. Like Raul passed right in the same rotation, he can also pass left, as long as the other players adjust and move so there's no overlap, and that throws the other team off.
Loy ball back's going to go up. 11-9 here in game number 2. Back slide.
Great play by Norman. Ooh. He's fired up over there.
Back slide by Romano, gets down. You're right, Norman made a great play.
I've seen him make more plays like that than I have anybody else. He keeps his eye on the ball, he hawk-eyes the ball, and he'll run balls down that nobody else can run down. Because he's so good at following the ball with his eyes and getting to it right at the last second and making the play.
Oh, nice play by Peter Kuyak.
Kojak with a big one.
Nice dig by Raul Papaleo. Nice set by Loy Ball, and nice kill by Peter Kuyak.
Here comes the Bulldog. Bulldog's back to serve. Chad, when he comes into the game, sometimes he doesn't concentrate on his serve and he has some bad, but when he concentrates, he can be one of the best servers around. He's concentrating here. It looks like it's going to be a good serve. Right in the 1-2 zone. Great pass by Bear. Put away.
Nice kill by Romano.
The pass made that happen. Passing and serving are the most important parts of the game, followed by blocking. And Ball State, with Dave Bear passing the way he is going to stay in this match, and they're going to have a chance. Great set by Loy. 6'10", is able to do those types of things.
Point to Ball State.
Nikiforov in high school out of New York was an awesome player and had a lot of power. He just showed it there. He has almost every shot in the book, and he does some amazing things.
Romano serves long, service air. Raul Papaleo back.
I'm surprised Shondell has gone to his bench, but not as much as I would expect him to in this game.
He did a lot more in the first game than he did in this game, Neil.
Definitely. I don't be surprised if they lose this game in the third game. You see a revolving door over there on that inline because they're going to be making a lot of subs. I'm surprised he hasn't put Tully back in. Tully came in and did a good job. I'm surprised he's not there on the court. But both Bear and Nikiforov are playing well right now, so.
Kill attempt by Romano's long. Point to IPFW, 12-10. Raul serving very well tonight with that jump serve.
Definitely. Ball State has 4 outside hitters of equal ability, 3 middle blockers of equal ability. They have a lot of depth on their bench, and they can play a lot of guys. Shondell's calling for a timeout here.
Well, Kuyak with the overpass kill takes IPFW out to a 13-10 lead. And Shondell's trying to calm his troops down a little bit. They fought back into that into this game. They'd fallen, they'd gotten a big lead. They fell behind 11-9, but they're right back in it with some good defensive play. And Shondell doesn't want to lose that momentum. It is 13-10 here in game number 2.
Well, we're seeing some of the people in the crowd right now. These fans, they are really important, as I've stressed before.
And they're real knowledgeable, Neil. I think it's fair to say the Fort Wayne community has really gotten behind the sport of volleyball and does a really nice job of being knowledgeable about the game. Channel 6 is now accepting applications for underwriting the televising of IPFW sports events and other programs. For more information about how your business or organization can utilize this opportunity, call the Channel 6 office during business hours at 481-6000.
The University of Southern California and Penn State are a close second in terms of how knowledgeable their fans are, but IPFW is by far and away number one. Brigham Young may post the highest attendance numbers, but IPFW is a close second in that as far as to my knowledge. I'm not sure about that, but I know our fans certainly know more than any other fans in the country. It's nice talking with them when I see some of them, you know, just around and talking volleyball with them, because I can talk at a high level and they can understand what I'm talking about. They really care a lot about the game, a lot about our team, and it's really nice to have that here in Fort Wayne. It helps volleyball grow.
Nice dig by Shondell off the block. Reimer with the kill.
Reimer's trying to get himself back on track here. He fell out of it a little bit earlier, but he may get it on track here. Not so good a pass by Raul, but Norm Gorm. Ooh, great dig
nice
by Dave
dig by Bayer.
Oh, what was that by Reimer? It was off speed shot. Comes back to Squirrel. See ya.
Good job. You mentioned this earlier. Spiegel is hitting very well tonight. I think he's only had one attack here that I can remember, and almost every other one's been down. So,
well, Ball State should have dug him there. Shondell was out of position on defense. He should have been all the way out in that line. It would have been an easy play, but when you're out of position on defense, that's what happens.
Not a smart play by Norman Amaldabar, but it counts. 14-11, the crowd will get up on its feet, as has become a tradition here at the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. Spiegel going to go up, and he hits it into the net.
That was a rap given to Quentin at the Olympic Festival in 1990. I was playing with him. He led the tournament in aces, but he'd always get one ace, and the next ball he'd serve it in the net. Quentin's had a hard time with his jump serve, serving more than one inbounds. But when he does get on track, he is possibly the best jump serve on this team if he gets hot.
You know, we saw a cross-court attack by Peter Kuliak. I got to believe he's about the most improved player since the beginning of the season, both in serving and hitting. He's just done a really nice job.
Coach Ball's worked hard with him, and he has all the athletic ability. So the ability was there. It's just a matter of getting it out of him.
You know what, Neil? They called that ball wide, but I think it hit in. I wonder if it didn't curve around the antenna, because it sure looked to me like it hit the line.
It may have hit the line. It looked to me that way too, but I'm not going to second guess it because he has a better angle than we do from up here.
Well, and it might have gone. You know, he might have had some spin on that ball, and it might have curved around the antenna.
That's possible. I've seen that done before.
Point to Ball State, 14-12. Quick attack by Loy Ball.
That's the big weapon of IPFW that they have. That is very difficult to stop. Loy, when he decides he wants to put the ball down, 90% of the time the ball goes down. Great pass by Papa. Norm Gorm with the set. Lloyd is spiking boy. Great play by Dave Bear. Reimer. Papa. Set outside to Dave Bear. Block, Doug. Great coverage again by Ball State. They're great covers. Out of bounds. The ball was out of bounds. The line judge called it in.
Patty overruled.
No, Patty didn't overrule. She called a net on IPFW.
Called a net on IPFW, okay.
But I don't think she saw it. The ball from up here looked clearly out of bounds, but the line judge called it in. So once again, I shouldn't be second guessing because they are closer, but I was pretty sure about that one. Great dig by Nikiforov. There goes Shondell. Whoa, watch it. Kevin Furnish over there giving him a hand, getting up. Kevin Furnish, a former star for Ball State a couple of years ago, sitting in the crowd over there. It's a good thing Shondell dove into him, because if it was an IPFW fan, I don't think they would have been too crazy about helping him up.
Boy ball with a jump serve.
A lot of nets here on IPFW hurting them.
Well, they're really trying to be aggressive right now. Bayer back to serve, 14-12. Service error, long.
Ball sailing. IPFW's been hurting themselves with net errors. Ball State's been hurting themselves with service errors. It's a race to the finish line now, 14-12.
Pecorellat back to serve.
Out to Nikiforov. He's the hammer. Don't be surprised to see a sub here. I anticipate Tolley and maybe even Craig Skinner coming in the game for Dave Bear. The Kiefer on fire. There's no way Shondell can sit him down. I don't see it happening. But Dave Bear may go down here for one of those other outside hitters because all four of them are of equal talent. And you're going to see all four of them play a lot tonight.
Overpass kill by Raul Papaleo.
Papasan, the IPFW bench is pumped. Steve Simonson and Brad Perditis and Chad Blatchley doing their little dances over there.
Raul back to serve. Game number 2.
There's Reimer.
I'll tell you what, both teams playing very, very well right now. A lot of side outs.
When Reimer's on, man, when he's a senior, when he finally learns to control that up and down streak he has, he's going to be a very big force to reckon with.
Johnny Shondell back to serve. Nice pass by Raul.
Norm Begorm. Ooh.
He's blocked, and they call it in.
Wow. Ball wasn't
13.
Straight down. The Kiefer showed perfect blocking technique. He was all the way over net. Where'd the ball go? Straight down. Norm's got to rebound from that and getting back.
IPFW scored a lot, or excuse me, Ball State scored a lot
Here
of their
comes
points.
the squirrel. Norm Begorm.
And it's out of bounds.
Oh. All right, that's what I like to see. That's typical Ball State and IPFW. Norman had something to say after he spiked that ball, a little bit of revenge. And Ball State says a lot of things under their breath through the net. And now IPFW, we're going to see a little bit of talking between these two teams because they have a lot of respect for each other. And I wouldn't call it bad blood, but there's a lot of competitiveness. And they are going to go at each other with everything they got. That includes talking after the play's over.
The keeper off, back to serve. Peter Kuyak with a kill.
Pete's having a great match too. All these IPFW players are playing well at times, except when they go on their bad streaks. A lot of guys are stepping up here. There's Dave Bear with a bad pass. I think it's time to get him out of the game, letting one of those other guys, Tolley or Skinner, play. Try and get some better passing. We need to put him away here. Here comes Bear. That ball might have been out of bounds. It's a great dig. When in doubt, it's never out. See ya. Loy to hit boy for the game. 2-0.
That was an interesting rotation IPFW was in. A couple times that set was done by the, in fact, I think that setup for the kill was done by Quentin Spiegel, wasn't it? Quentin doesn't get very many set assists, does he?
Yeah, I tell you what, though, Squirrel's not a bad setter. I remember, it's very difficult. When we come back from break, I'll continue on with my analogy of Quentin Spiegel's setting.
A lot of my friends have already retired. But I wasn't ready for that. So I'm still teaching. This time in Belize, Central America. I decided to join the Peace Corps. I love my kids. And the way I figure it, I have the rest of my life to play cards.
Peace Corps, the toughest job you'll ever love.
My hero, Isaiah Thomas, Kevin Costner, Mr. Wong.
These are teachers, but to the kids they've reached, they're heroes.
My hero, Mrs. Wooten. If I don't get through to that child, who knows, maybe no one else will.
Teachers have the power to wake up young minds, to be heroes, to make a difference. Reach for that power. Teach. Find out how by calling 1-800-45-TEACH. Be a teacher. Be a hero.
What comes to your mind when you think about mathematics? Clowns, street sweepers, the Red Sox, robots, the weather, earthquakes, Disney World, pineapples, conventions, parking tickets, fishing? If these practical applications of contemporary mathematics didn't make your list, you should watch public television's math series For All Practical Purposes.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. Tonight's NCAA volleyball match between the Ball State Volley Cards and the IPFW Volley Dons. IPFW has jumped out to a 2-0 lead here, winning the first game 15-11 and the second game 15-13.
Okay, well, before we went to break there, I was talking about Quentin Spiegel's setting. Craig Collins is another opposite for an IPFW team. has really worked hard on improving his setting. The opposite player, the person who's opposite the setter, when they're front row, that setter's back row. If the setter has to play defense and dig a ball, it is their job to set it as opposed to any other player. So they have to set and practice and learn how to set quick sets, which are the one balls in the middle and outside. So Quinn Spiegel gets a lot of repetition setting the ball, which we're going to see here in a replay how he did it on that last play. The ball goes outside here to Ball State. It is dug, and Quentin Loy's hitting outside, so Quentin had to set it. And there goes Loy with the kill. Great set by Quentin. Opposite players have to learn how to set the ball, because when the setter digs the ball, they become the setter on the court.
Well, and you got to believe it's got to be a real advantage for a 6'10" player like Loy Ball to be able to hit over the block, no matter who goes up with you.
You know, that's the thing about IPFW. They have so many players who can set the ball and play defense, and we've always been that way the past 5 years, where they have players who can play different positions. It allows Coach Ball to do a lot of mixing around with his team, and it keeps the other team off guard. And there was a perfect example of it, having Loy hit outside. They can't set up against anything on us. Shondell constantly has to play a chess match with Ball, which he has lost nine times in a row, hopefully 10 with this match, because Coach Ball has more pieces to work with.
Well, we saw a typical Ball State ploy. I've seen them do this a number of times where they actually leave the court between games, and they're a little slow getting back here. I don't know what the rule is on that, Neil, but
there are no rules with Shondell. He's the granddaddy. He gets away with so much, which I'm really not going to get into, but actually, I will get into a couple things. When we played down there a couple years ago, they like a slower-paced game, and we like the fast-paced game. There's supposed to be at least 4 balls in circulation, as you see the ball girls on the sides handling it. So the balls, play after play, there's someone back serving. He put 2 balls out there, and by the time we go back to serve, we're waiting for a ball, and it's just rolling up the line to the ball girl. And it slowed the game down a lot, and we ended up going 5 games with them, and it really hindered our play. So, and there's nothing illegal about that. As a matter of fact, I compliment the man because he's smart. He knows how to get outside devices to work to his advantage, and we shouldn't have let that bother us, and we did. And we have to learn to adjust to his little poison things, because he will do them, because he's a master. He's been coaching volleyball for a lot of years.
Well, I think it's real important, and I don't think the key to this match is what happens in this game, but I think it could be a key to IPFW and how they play in the next couple weeks by how they do in this game. I think it's real important to maintain that high level of intensity. Johnny Shondell back to serve.
Take Ball State out in 3 after those injuries. It's a big upper, and they can turn their season around. Ball was out.
But there was indecision on IPFW's part on that, Neil. It scares me a little bit. It was out, but I believe they thought it was going to be in and didn't know who was going to play the ball.
Well, my girls on my team at Northrop know, on my reserve team at Northrop know my philosophy. When in doubt, it's never out. I would have played that ball, but they didn't. They got lucky. It's a point, but if it goes in bounds, you look pretty stupid. It really hurts the team's morale.
Ball State a little bit shaky there. Doesn't get the ball over. 1-0 IPFW. Loy back to serve. Oh, nice kill by Reimer.
We don't want him to get hot here. What we want to do is keep him cold, because he gets flustered if he gets blocked, more so than any other player on their team or any other player in the Midwest. So take him out of his game. We're in good shape. Tony Hollinger, yeah, he's back in the game again. I'm wondering where Oath is.
Well, you said his back might be hurting him, and it might be that the case that he only played that one rotation across the front, and then Shondell brought him out and never put him back in.
Yeah, but I thought Oath was playing well and helping them, and I don't know about the sub with Hollinger here, but Shondell tends to do that. Hollinger got a kill there, but it was pretty weak. So, you know, IPFW won't have any problem shutting him down. They can pretty much ignore him and key on the other players, because he won't get too many sets, and when he does, he doesn't hit the ball very hard. They should be able to dig it.
Speaking of not hitting the ball very hard.
Little miss hit there by Pete.
But it's good. It's down.
But to tell you the truth with Pete, he hits the ball pretty high, so he has a lot of miss hits, but they're going down. So just like Hollinger's, if it goes down, it doesn't matter how hard you hit it, as long as it goes down.
Raul Papaleo back to serve. Oh, Romano out of the middle with a quick attack.
Doesn't hit the ball soft. He's a hammer, and he's their biggest hitter, and they need to go to him here if they want to get back in this match. Incredible player, Greg Romano.
Reimer back to serve.
Oh, mix up there with who was hitting the blue set. Big mix up.
And nobody gets back to play defense.
You know, IPFW, what happens is Loy is out there on the court calling the signals, all right? And when he calls for a blue set, those 2 players are close together, and they both probably thought that he was talking to them. So they both went for it, and there was a mix-up, and they almost almost collided, ended up losing the point.
Neil, if you can detail that a little bit, it's been real interesting to me. Loy goes through about 4 hand signals before every serve, and of course, an uneducated volleyball person like me has no clue. So if you could go through that a little bit as we're going through this game and explain what he's calling and those kind of things.
Well, the way that works basically is before the play, Loy has about 10 seconds to tell everybody on the court, all 6 players, what exactly is going to go on the next play. Not only that, he has to remember exactly what he told them. Now imagine in 10 seconds telling 6 guys with maybe 2,000 fans around you screaming what they have to do. You have to tell them verbally and with hand signals. What happened there? Oh, they got
net
close
violation.
I
IPFW.
think it was a bad call.
Must have called Loy in the net. I believe she gave a signal for 10. So it's a point.
I didn't see it, but it must have happened. But Loy, as he's doing right now, is calling the plays, and he's giving the signals, and it looks like sign language there, and which it is, and these guys know at a split second exactly what he's telling you to do. Now, with me, since I was a middle, he was usually next to me, so he could tell me verbally, even with a lot of noise. But the rest of the guys, he has to communicate with him by verbal language. Who was that there? That kill. I think that was Norman. So with Loy, he communicates with the signals. Now, in transition, when the play is going on, we tell him what we want to hit. So, because he can't call signals while he's setting the ball, so we call what we're going to hit, and then he decides who he's going to set in a split second. John Shondell and Loy Ball have 2 of the most difficult jobs on the face of this earth because they have to, even more so than the quarterback in the NFL, they have to react in a split second faster than an NFL quarterback does. And that makes it much more difficult. Volleyball's a very tough sport.
Service ace by Kuyak. Now, the signals that he gives during that 10 seconds, is that just for the first rotation of that? Or is it if the ball keeps coming back, you run the same thing?
That's a good question. It's for the first time off of the pass of the serve. That's what they do the first time. Like I said, after that, during the play, the guys on the team will yell to him what they want to hit. The middle will call his play first, and then the outside hitters will adjust off the middle's play. So Quentin and Felipe, no, I'm sorry, Peter and Felipe, because Quentin's opposite, will call what they want to hit. Loy will hear that, and then Raul and Norman will hear what they call, and then they'll call what they want to hit. And then Loy will decide, he'll look over on the other side of the net, see where the blockers are, and decide what's the best play to set. All within a matter of 2 seconds.
Killed by Reimer. 3-3 here in game number 3.
So for you fans at home, you realize the complexity of this game is very, very complex down there on the court. They have to do a lot of communicating with each other. Communication, I take that back. Serving and passing are the second most important part of the game. Communication is the most important part.
Spiegel with a kill through the block. Side out IPFW. Norman Amaldavar back to serve.
That's one thing Loy Ball is great at, is hearing his other teammates and making the right decision on the set. He's the best in the country doing that, even better than Kenyon Seaman.
Hollinger with a kill.
I can remember very few times when I called out a play and I was open and Loy didn't hit me with a set, because he always sees the other side of the net and he always makes the right decision in transition off of who to set. And like I said, that's done in 2 seconds, so he's amazing that he can do that. It comes from having a dad as a setter.
By Ball State. Tip.
Nice play by Squirrel. Go, Papa, go. All right, set Felipe, Papa. Oh.
Nice dig by Romano.
Oh, there's Norman
nice
back there deep where he's
Norman.
supposed to be. All you volleyball players at home, when your coach tells you to stay in the middle back, that is why. Stay deep.
You know, Neil,
favoring his ankle there.
Ball State is so known for that tip and roll game, and we've really taken them out of that tonight. And in the last few times we've played them, we've really played really heads-up defense and digging the ball with the tip and roll stuff.
Certainly, we've been all over it. We haven't been digging in like we usually do against them, waiting for the hard spike. We've been on our toes, ready for those tips, and we, like you said, we've taken them out of that. See, there's another roll right there. We're just picking it up like cake with the big block
by Nikiforov.
I think Coach Shondell has realized that his tip and roll thing, he's lost us 9 times in a row. He realizes it's not going to defeat us, so I think he's trying to bring his team into the new era and try and make them attack the ball a little bit more and become bigger blockers, as you see right there with the big block.
Spiegel through the block.
Squirrel. But the unfortunate thing for that is by doing that, he plays right into our hands. So he's kind of in a no-win situation. If he does the tip and roll stuff, we win. If he plays into our hands, we win. If we don't play our game, he wins. But the last 9 times we've played our game.
Pepa back to serve. Tip out of the back row.
Okay. Here comes Romano out of the back row.
Didn't look like it made it over, and Patty calls it.
Raul touched that, but Patty, maybe he didn't, but it looked to me like he did from up here. But that's twice that's happened with Romano. Romano's getting there a little bit late, or maybe Shondell needs to put the set about 3 or 4 inches higher, give him another split second to get there.
Reimer with the kill across court.
Roy was moving there. One thing most coaches tell their defensive players is when the ball is being attacked, you want to be stopped no matter where you are. Even if you're out of position, you want to be stopped so you can react to the ball. If you're moving and the ball's hit behind you, you can't go back to get it. Just like on that play as Loy showed.
Baer with the block on Spiegel.
Great block by Dave Baer. That was one of my biggest problems on defense, was I was often moving when the ball was being attacked. Papasan.
Combination with Raul Papaleo.
There's my favorite play. We used to run that a lot last year, and I haven't seen too much of it this year, but teams were never able to stop it. Where you run a front one and a back run, which is the decoy, and Raul hides behind all 3 players so the block can't see him, and out of nowhere he comes, and boom, the ball's gone. IPFW doing a good job getting their hands on the ball for the block.
Oh, nice job by Norman Amaldavar.
Somebody told me his ankle was hurt, but I don't know if I believe it because he's playing a heck of a match tonight. It was a great block. Good job getting over the net and reaching into the court to block the ball.
Raul Papaleo continues to serve. Oh, Bayer through the block.
Dave's playing well. I'm surprised that I haven't seen Skinner or Tolley this game, but he left Dave in there, and now Dave's starting to come around, so Shondell made the right move there.
Reimer back to serve. Nice serve by Reimer. Oh, nice quick attack by Peter Kuyak out of the middle.
There's Pete. Coach Jack's been having a great match. Like I said, Coach Ball's been working on him hitting the ball higher. He's an excellent listener. He's a great person to coach because he listens to everything the coach says and tries to do it better.
Spiegel with a jump serve into the net.
Coach Ball's really happy with him because he's really trying, even though he doesn't always do it, he's really trying his hardest to do what Coach Ball tells him to do.
Bayer to serve.
Great set by Loy. Oh, nice save, Norman.
Nice save by Norman Amaldavar.
6'10" setter can make plays like, oh, way to be on top of that, Felipe. There's that tip and roll game of Ball State not working. And we give it right back to them, but they pick it up. Little tip and roll going on here. Ball State's type of game. We don't want to do that. We want to pound the ball like that. These guys are so quick on defense, and if we tip and roll, they're going to beat us. We need to do just what we did. We're so much more powerful than they are. And if we just pound the ball at them and we're playing our game, it's over with.
Kuyak to serve.
Looked like a touch there. They got it. This line judge down here, he resembles Ohio State's coach Pete Hansen a lot.
Does. He sure does.
But he made it. He's been making good calls here back here tonight. Matter of fact, I thought it was Pete Hansen. Like, what's he doing there?
DiNonato into the lineup and back to serve for the Volley Cards.
Squirrel. Oh.
Gets it long.
Squirrel got under that ball. Often coaches will tell their players to keep the ball out in front of you when you attack it. He came in too far, the ball got behind him, and he ended up swinging up high, and it caused him to hit it out of bounds. So for players at home, if you find yourself having problems hitting the ball out of bounds all the time, you might want to keep it more out in front of you where you can see it. That way you'll be able to hit it better.
Service air, side out to the Volleyball. Norman Amaldavar back to serve. 5-5 here in game number 3. IPFW leads 2-0. Best of 5 match.
For those of you at home who are wondering how to do that, how to keep the ball out in front of you, you want to wait a second longer on your approach. It's always easy to wait there and accelerate to the ball than it is to already start to the ball and then have to go backwards. So wait a second on your approach. When the ball, wait till the setter sets the ball. As soon as the setter sets the ball, figure out how long it's going to take you to get up there to hit it and then explode to the ball and attack it while it's in front of you. Don't let it get behind your head because you won't be able to hit it in bounds with any kind of power.
Shondell to serve for Ball State. Oh, great hit by Raul Papaleo.
He's amazing at going against the grain. They can't stop him. He can go anywhere he wants. He's having back pain. I can tell by the way he's holding his back. You know, Raul's had some injuries too. You know, you're talking about Norman and Felipe, but a lot of these guys have nagging injuries. I know Lloyd has several, and nobody knows about them, but these guys go through a lot of pain during the season to play volleyball because they love it so much.
Kill by Almodovar out of the back row.
Great job by Norman.
6-5, IPFW.
Injuries are taken for granted by the fans because they don't realize how much pain these guys are going through. I know I had about 5 to 7 injuries last year that were nagging with me, and one major one. It's really difficult to go through an entire season and play at a high level when you're in a lot of pain.
Side out to Ball State. Nikiforov back to serve. Combination with Papaleo and hitting in. Side out, IPFW. Pepa Relat back to serve. Could be a service ace. Oh, what a great play. What a great play by Nikiforov. Not sure how he kept that in play, Neil.
He's just a phenomenal athlete and can make great plays. Norman's limping around here. Looks like he's in a lot of pain. They might have to take him out of the game. Norman's limping back there. Coach Ball's going to have to take him out. He doesn't look. I think Brad Prioditis has been the guy that's been playing his position. He's going to have to come off the bench here, it looks like.
And Neil's right, Brad Prioditis coming into the lineup here. Norman coming off. Looked like Norman got caught under the net on that dive. Hollinger back to serve for the volley card. Quick attack out of the middle by Peter Kuyak. Raul Papaleo back to serve.
I tell you what, I was talking to Coach Ball a couple weeks ago, and he has a lot of hope and a lot of respect for Brad Prioditis as a player. Brad is really intense. He reminds me a lot of Coach Ball and his intensity on the court. He just goes out there and plays his hardest with a lot of competitiveness, and which is showed in that play he made right there. And he will always try his hardest at all times during the game.
Quentin Spiegel off the block. I noticed that really against Winnipeg. You know, he really came out, worked hard. He made some mistakes, but he's only a freshman, and it's going to take some time for him to get into that mode.
No doubt. Coach Ball realizes he's a very raw player, but he really swings hard at the ball. He has a lot of problems passing. That's probably his biggest weakness. But he's such an intense player, and he's really great to have out there on the court. It's because it's nice when his teammates see him come out there and they look around him. Pete Kujak holding his back. He's injuries for IPFW. Let's hope they get through this match, because if they have the injuries take them out, they could lose in 5 games here. Apparently Norman Almodovar has gone. There's a great kill by Pete. Norman Almodovar has gone downstairs, so it must be a pretty major re-injury to his ankle. I don't know if he's
actually, he was meeting with the trainer Mike Gale down there, and it looks like they're coming back on the court. And Norman looks to be walking a little bit better. You know, when you have an injury like that and you twist it, it really can be painful, and if you just walk a little bit, you can walk out of it. Now again, he had such a severe sprain, we don't know exactly what's going to happen there. So the College Cable Access Program Guide provides information about our programming, including IPFW sports telecast. To receive your free Channel 6 program guide, send your name, address, and zip code to Channel 6 at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805, or call us at 481-6000.
It's important, as we look at Norman Almodovar here, is if he did re-injure his ankle and he cannot return, that they get him out of the match now, get ice on it to keep the swelling down. If he is able to play, it's important that he stay moving around on it now until Coach Ball puts him back in the game, because if he doesn't, it'll swell up on him. And you want to either stay active on it, keep pressure on it, or get some ice on it. You don't want to just stand there. Now, as you see him jumping around now, if we can get a shot of him on the bench. He's jumping around now, moving his legs, keeping that ankle warm. And that's very important that he do that, because if he stops and sits down, then it's going to swell up on him. He will not be able to go back into the match.
Well, Reimer had that last kill through the block. And there's Prioditis. He probably would have been long. There's one of those hitting errors we talked about, but Ball State tried to dig it and was not able to.
They're showing a lot of great hustle on Ball State's side. Last year, when I had turf toe, which is a severely sprained toe, I went in, I played. Coach Ball took me out because I was hurt. I made the mistake of sitting on it too long. When I tried to go back in, I couldn't go back in again. So Norman really needs to keep moving around here.
Reimer with a kill again. Side out Ball State. Bayer to serve. There's a hitting there by Prioditis. I'm really kind of surprised they're not serving at Prioditis, Nito.
I am too. Raul's the best passer in the country, and Brad's probably having the toughest time passing of anybody on IPFW's team. I'm sure that they'll go at him here. No, they're going at Raul, especially with Brad front row. That makes absolutely no sense.
Does that take Raul out of the hitting game, though?
No, but he's back row right now. Now, if he were front row, I could understand them serving at him because then it takes him out of the hitting game. But with Raul back row, you do not want to serve him. It makes no sense to me what Ball State's doing. I know Shondell isn't calling those serves, but I know he knows better. Anybody who knows volleyball at that high of a level would not do that. Here comes Norm Gorm, the Quiet Storm.
That was an interesting call by the officials, Neil. Bob Michael, the down official, called that into the antenna, and the linesman didn't call it at all. And from our angle, it was real hard to tell whether it hit the antenna or hit the net. 9-7.
Wow.
Bayer with an ace, 9-8.
Now, if you serve like that, it doesn't matter if you're serving at Karts Karai, because that was a tremendous serve right in the most infamous zone on the court to serve into. It's called the 1-2 zone, right between zone 1, which is back by the serving line, and zone 2, which is up by the net on the right-hand side if you're facing the net. If you serve the ball right in between there, it's the hardest for the passer to go to his right and pass that ball. So we're going to see a replay
of that serve. It was a great serve.
Now, right in the zone where it hits is the perfect spot to serve a ball. So if you want to become a great server, learn to serve the ball hard and tough right to that zone right there. Even the best passer in the country, Raul Papaleo, cannot pass that ball. That was a tremendous serve by Dave Baer. Steve Simonson, a player on IPFW's team, does a great job. He's left-handed too, which makes it even more incredible. It's easier for a right-hander to serve the ball there. It's serving the ball to that zone. I've seen him come off the bench, Steve, and make great serves to that zone, so he's good at doing that.
There you see a picture of Norman, and he doesn't look like he's too hobbled by that injury. We'll see how he plays. They've not gone towards him. They were still serving at Raul.
You know, this is Ball State, and Norm's not going to sit out because he's Norm Gorm, the Quiet Storm. So he'll be back.
Bayer continues to serve.
He served that ball right at Raul. Raul passed the nail, and Norman put it away.
Peter Kuyak with a serve long, side out. Oh, Norman with a left hand.
Great save by Norman.
And there's a tip that works for Reimer. 9-9. DiDonato serving. Quick attack. Pepe Relat.
You know, Felipe has really impressed me. You know, this year, at the beginning of the year, I expected him to come back from the summer, having played down in Puerto Rico with the great players down there, and be a much better middle attacker than he was last year. And I didn't think that he improved that much over summer, but over these past few games, he has really amazed me as much as he's improved. And if he's hitting like this, that's the final piece of the IPFW puzzle, as long as they're playing well together, for them to win a national championship this year. He's doing a great job. Felipe is really impressing me across the board. He's a great guy, and on the court, he's a great player. And if he's hitting that great out of the middle, they're going to be in great shape.
Combination with Papaleo, but he hits it wide. 9-9. 10-9, excuse me. Ball State goes out in front. Shondell serving. They're in a good rotation for Ball State right now. They scored a lot of points with Shondell serving.
Great pass by Norman. Loy sends it home. If you watch IPFW, they are different from any other team in that they pass the ball at about 11 to 12 feet above the net. Other teams pass at 8 feet because their setters are so short. But we pass the ball higher because we want Loy to jump set, because that makes him an offensive threat to tip the ball like he just did there. It also holds a block because a blocker has to jump with him so he doesn't tip. And if that's one less blocker who can block on our hitters because they're up in the air. So if we pass the ball high, it takes the other team's block totally away, and we'll have no problem running our offense.
Well, Reimer got that last kill before Nikiforov hit it service there, but we got to get Reimer back out. He's hitting the ball real well right now. Somebody's got to go up and block him once or twice.
You know, I hear Norman and Raul when they come back from Puerto Rico in the summer, or even when they're playing up here. You know, it's really hard for them to adjust to a different setter in the summer because they have to pass the ball lower, and they're so used to passing it high. When they pass it high with other setters, they don't get to the ball. It goes over the net. So, you know, I've had the same problem playing with other guys, smaller setters, because I'm used to passing the ball high for Lloyd myself.
Bayer with the kill. Hollinger back to serve.
I don't know how good of a server the Joker is, but he could get some tough ones. There's a short serve. It's a great serve, but Raul is so quick he gets to it.
That ball's out of bounds. Hit the crossbar up in the ceiling.
I wish we could see a replay of that because they'll show Shondell being out of position and running. He was running, the ball was hit back behind him, therefore he didn't dig it. There's
Reimer
that
with the roll again.
Typical Ball State ball control roll stuff. We're digging in again because we got used to them hitting. Maybe that was Shondell's plan. Pound the ball at first and I'll go to this roll stuff. We have to be ready for it on our toes so we can pick that ball up. It's an easy ball to dig.
Service air. Ball State hitting a couple of those now.
There goes Reimer into the tank. Look at his face. Looks like Dennis the Menace. He's pouting. He's not ready to play right now. If they set him, I guarantee you he'll make an error. Let's see if it happens here.
Oh, nice serve by Spiegel. That ball was moving all over the place.
Well, with Squirrel serving like that, no, they ain't gonna set anybody. Now Reimer looks like he's come out of it now. He's holding his head up. He looks a little bit more ready here, so they can go to him here, being their big gun. They go to DiDonato.
Kuyak got a hand on the ball, but couldn't keep it in play.
Pete is supposed to get over net as a middle blocker. He's about a foot back from net. You can't block balls when you're that far back. He's got to penetrate over. DiDonato, when he penetrates over, is no match for Pete. But if Pete's going to give him that kind of an opening, anybody's going to need a kill.
Touch at the net. Side out IPFW.
Well, got a little bit lucky there because that was a mishit. He got too close to Lloyd. Middle hitters at home. When you're playing with your setter, if you find that you're having a hard time connecting with them, it might be because you're too close to them. You want to give a little bit of space, about a body's length sideways away from them, because they need that room to set you the ball. If you're too tight to them, there's no room to get the ball in there.
Kuyak has, after I bragged him up about how he improved his setting, has had about 3 service errors here in game number 3. But it's 10-10 here in game number 3.
This one's going to go down to the wire. If Ball State wins this game, this is going to be a dogfight.
Double block by Hollinger and Shondell.
You know, Shondell got his hand. Hollinger gets assist on that, but he actually did not touch the ball. Shondell blocked that ball. That impressed me. You won't see a lot of blocks out of John Shondell, especially against Norman Almodovar. Oh, now a little talking from the IPFW team. Norman, he gets fired up and he says things, and I'm sure Ball State provoked it by saying something first because they always do. And, you know, he wanted to get Shondell back for that block because I'm sure Shondell said something to him after he blocked that ball. On that last play, for those of you folks at home are wondering, how come the referee didn't blow a whistle when Norman Almodovar set the first ball over the net? Patty never calls that ball. Each referee's different. I know a lot of the referees up in Canada, when Norman did that, they called it every time. Even if it was a clean set, they expect the players to pass the ball like Raul just did on the first play. However, some referees will let the set go.
Papaleo with the block. Neil, Ball State's going to that real short serve the last 3 or 4 times now. What's the thinking behind doing that?
Okay, what it does is Norman's ankle's hurt, and Raul's been moving quick. I wouldn't suggest serving him short, but if they can serve short, it makes Norman move and have to run to the ball. And with his ankle hurting, they expect to get a lot of bad passes out of him because he won't get to the ball as quickly as he normally would.
11-11. Loy ball back to serve again. Went up last time. I expect him to go up this time.
Okay, Loy the jump serve, boy.
Service ace.
That's an ace where they face.
You talk about deja vu, Neil. This reminds me a lot of that Stanford match at Ball State last year. We sent Norman and Loy up and turned the whole match around for the 3rd and 4th games.
Loy jump serve match point on that 4th game. I remember watching hit the floor and the place went crazy.
Service error.
But when you jump serve, you're going to make errors. That one was a little bit far out for Lloyd, but we're going to have to come back here inside out because we're doing a good job.
12 to 11, IPFW.
Great pass by Norman. Oh, Shondell.
Nice dig by Shondell.
Fine defensive player. He does a great job back there.
Oh, nice play by Spiegel. Off-speed kill attempt.
Taste your own medicine, Cardinals. Because that's what they like to do against us. They got dug in, used to us pounding the ball. Norman with the set to Quentin, and Quentin with the smart play, tipping in the middle of the court. But John Shondell is a phenomenal defensive player. He showed it right there. Let me look around. Next to Raul, he's the best defensive player out here on this court. He makes phenomenal defensive plays. Raul's a little bit quicker at anticipating, though. Off Lloyd's knee, even though it looked good.
I'll tell you what, Ball State came back with that same combination play, though. That double up in the middle is a interesting play. Really creates havoc for the defense.
That's a good point there, Dan. We were talking about, here comes Skinner. We play defense. You know, that X play, it's called. It's a crossing play. Like I said earlier, the middle goes up and takes the block with him, and that player comes right behind him, and the block doesn't have time to get up again. But the block has to try and get up again anyhow to make the block.
Ball State playing some really good defense right now.
Squirrel.
Nice block by Spiegel.
Squirrel's one of the greatest middle blockers.
Nice dig by Ball.
In the history of the NCAA, because he really gets over the net far.
Kill by Reimer.
Quentin's arms are so long, it allows him to get up faster. When you're in the middle, you can't be short or you have to be able to react really quickly, because if you take a split second too long, the ball's gone because the set's so quick. So Quentin's arms are so long, they're already there. All he has to do is jump 2 inches off the ground, and he's able to block a ball.
Nice play by Ball State.
Oh, Papasan.
Goes right back to Papaleo, though.
You know, Shondell's really disappointing me tonight because he's a phenomenal defensive player and he makes a lot of great digs, but that's the 4th time tonight I've caught him moving when the ball's being hit, and that's why he's not digging those balls. He's going the wrong way, and he can't get stopped to play the ball. He doesn't dig it. I'm really disappointed. I'm shocked, too, because he's a phenomenal defensive player, and he hasn't been doing the things he needs to do. He would have dug that ball if he'd have stopped.
12 to 12 here in game number 3. Reimer back to serve for the Ball State Cardinals. Norman Maldemar.
Quiet storm. Eat it, Nikiforov. Oh, you can do all that all you want, but the ball was down. Norm's fired up here.
Quentin Spiegel back to serve. Reimer again. Reimer's real hot on both sides. Bayer back to serve. 12-12.
Collins calling the serve.
Nice pass by Papaleo. Back set to Spiegel. Nice dig.
There's Shondell with that left-handed attack, which he's able to do. But that's Norm Gorm, the quiet storm.
What a great play by Norman Maldemar.
You know, I like Norman's intensity because, you know, often we will be the tamer of the two, and Colin Leiter's getting ready to call to serve here. Like I was saying, often we will be the tamer of the two when the talking through the net will go on, and we try and stay calm down because usually we're winning and there's no need for us to talk. But there's a time when you have to say something back because you can't just let a team say things to you all match. And Norman has been tired of that, so he's fighting back here a little bit. Nothing bad said. It's just more like an in-your-face type deal.
Scott Lauer entering that substitution, but Reimer with a middle attack kill, side out.
A lot of coaches discourage it, and often Coach Ball will definitely discourage that. We don't want to see any trash talking, but when it's between us and Ball State and we respect each other and we understand why we're doing it, it's not quite as bad. But you don't want to let things like that get out of hand because volleyball is a sportsman-like game, and you don't want to let the call, you know, your head gets too heated at any point. Santa Barbara and University of San Diego State had gotten a big fight a couple years ago because they are the 2 biggest trash talking teams in the country. And it didn't look very good for the sport of volleyball when they did that.
Nice play by
ball was down as a bad call. Thank you.
No, Bob Michael called it. Patty was a little bit slow with the whistle, but Bob Michael called it down right away. Side out IPFW. Norman Maldemar back to serve. Well, Norman, I got to believe that if you start trash talking too much, you start paying more attention to the talking than you are to playing the game.
You hit that one on the nose, Dan. I try not to talk trash. As a matter of fact, the only team that I did do it against was Ball State. When Santa Barbara started, I wouldn't say anything. Ball State, for some reason, I don't know what it was. I would have to say a thing here or there, but it was one quick thing and then back to the game. You can't get caught up in the trash talking like you said, because it takes you out of your game. And if you get taken out of the game by that talking, believe me, Coach Ball will sit you on the bench.
Well, on the side out for Ball State, Hollinger had a great kill, but Loy went right back at him with Pepe Relat, and Relat hit right over Hollinger.
You know, Norman has done it. You know, he said a couple things in retaliation, but right after he says them, he's right back to the game, concentrating.
Oh, what a great play by Reimer. I'm not sure how he got that ball in. And IPFW a little bit slow reacting.
Norman's really fired up right now, and he's complaining to the other guys on his team because he wants to see better play out of them. They're not playing at the level they could right now. I like Norman leading them out there. He's so fiery. I love it. Ball called out of bounds. IPFW is kind of in slow motion here right now, and so is Ball State. Someone needs to step away here.
It's been 12-12 through a number of rotations, Neil.
Come on, Felipe, tough serve.
Serves wide, service there. Coach Ball a little bit frustrated. Coach Ball looking at Colin Leiter, asking him.
Joker had a great short serve last time, but that time he tried a short serve, but it went too deep. And they paid the price.
Spiegel, outside attack.
When you're serving the short serve, you want to serve it in front of 10-foot line, so the passer has to run forward to pass it, hoping he'll hit it over the net for an overpass. But that time he served it back behind a 10-foot line. It's an easy pass for Raul, and we ran it right down their throat.
Nice dig by Ball.
Oh, missed call by Patty. The set was interfered with by Peter Kujak.
Does he have to touch the ball, Neil, or does he just have to make a play?
He has to touch the ball. If he reaches over the net and touches the ball while John Shondell is trying to set it, it's an illegal play. The whistle should have blown. The ball should have been blown dead side out for Ball State.
So from your view up here, it appeared, did he touch the ball?
Yeah.
Good.
Also, he cannot touch John Shondell's hands either. The ball or the hands of the setter.
Nice dig by Raul, but it can't be picked up. 13-12, IPFW. Schmidt.
Reimer's been known to have a tough serve at times. Another short serve behind that 10-foot line. Papa passes it. Norman almost terminated.
Nice
Great dig by
Shondell.
Shondell. Ball was out of bounds. That was the missed call back there on the line. Now I don't like to second guess him because I know it's like to be a ref, but it went down really fast, so you can't blame him to make that call. But looking at it, the ball looked clearly out of bounds to me. Patty's overruling it. Great call by the up ref. It's her job. Norman's disgusted about it right now, pulling on the net, but she did a great job. The ball was clearly out of bounds, and you cannot let a missed call like that change the outcome of this game. Great job by Patty up there on the referee stand. Even though it was a great block by IPFW. Norm will go in the quiet storm. He's fired up now. He's fired up now.
Well, Loy made a great choice to go right back to him. Knew that he was emotionally into this and went right back to him. So
when Norman's hot, he's on fire. You know, when he's mad, I wouldn't want to be in the way of one of his spikes.
Quentin Spiegel.
Yeah, that was Peter Kujak and Norman.
And Kujak with Norman with the overpass kill.
Quentin with the great serve.
14-13.
Fans are up. About to send Ball State home for the 10th straight
Ball State
time.
wants a timeout.
Shondell calling the timeout. Squirrel throws the ball into the crowd. It's not over yet. The official attendance tonight was 1,554, which is a really good night for IPFW. So we want to thank the fans for coming out and supporting the IPFW volleyball team again.
Well, I think they had about 2,300 here that night we played Ball State back in January. Everybody's real hungry for that first match of the year. This is a nice crowd.
Looking around, this official attendance figures, I guess that's counted from ticket stubs and everything. But as I look around, I guess that there would be a little bit more.
Well, I think, Neil, what you have to do is you look around the crowd, and there you're getting a good view of it. It's pretty full. But if you look up at the tops, there's a lot of space. Nobody's crowded in together. This place, when it's packed, can seat 2,500. And they're just spread out a little bit up there.
I still think this number, if anything, will be on the low side. If it's not correct, it's on the low side. The fan support here is just terrific. It's tremendous.
We got a 14-13 game here in game number 3. Quentin Spiegel back to serve for the game and the match. IPFW leads 2-0. Good serve.
Back to Reimer. Oh.
Right in the middle.
Dude, he just looked like a swan in the air there. That was pretty. He came out of the back row. That's almost like a crossing play in the front row, except he's hitting from the back row. Both players go up for a front one ball and a back one ball. Takes the block. He came out of the back row and hammered that ball. Great play by Reimer. Great set by Shondell. Oh, another great dig. We can't. Oh, we're playing their game and beating them at it. I don't suggest we do that too often, though, because they will get that ball up next time. Norman's such a powerful hitter, he needs to swing at the ball.
Peter Kuyak back to serve for a game and a match. Peter serves.
Out. Ball was out of bounds. Oh, no. Oh, no. That's the end of the match, but there may be a bigger...
I didn't see what happened there. Did you?
I was watching the ball out of bounds. I think IPFW would rather give that point to Ball State and rather have Loy healthy. We're going to stay here for a second because we may have won the match, but something more crucial here is at stake.
We'll see if there's a replay. If we got a replay.
Yeah,
on that.
Can we get a replay down there in the booth because we've got some time here.
Because, again, I was watching the ball all the way, and it was clearly out of bounds. And when I turned back to see the action at the net, Loy was laying on the ground. It looks like they're on his ankle, which is better than his knee. At first, I was concerned the way it was crumpled up there that it was his knee, but it looks to me like it was his ankle that they're working on right now.
And Loy has had ankle problems before. I know last year he and I used to camp out in the training room about a couple hours every day before practice. And he has problems with almost every part of his body. He has a lot of nagging injuries, and we don't want to see a re-injured ankle. Here comes a replay for us here. Let's try and see if we can see what happened. A little rewinding action going on there. Well, while we're waiting for that replay, we'd like to announce that Norman Almodovar was our Dandy Don player of the game. He did a great job coming back from that injury, firing his team up. He really led the team out there, and he played with a lot of intensity, a lot of fire, and you could tell by the look in his eye and the clenching of his fists and the things he was saying while he was playing, along with his great play. I think that's why we picked him. Do you agree?
I agree 100%.
Here comes the play. He came down on what happens is sometimes on a block. Loy was the middle blocker. Middle blockers often are late, because I know I was late often because the set goes to the outside so quick. As a result, what they're doing is they drift out. For those of you who play volleyball, you realize what I'm talking about. Was they're jumping out, they're floating out. As a consequence, sometimes when they land, they'll land on a person's foot next to them, which is what happened here. I couldn't see who it was, whose foot he landed on, but it turned, and you could tell immediately it turned. We're going to get another angle on it here. Okay, Loy's getting ready to block here. Oh, no, that's the play before. That's the play before. Okay. But anyhow, when we get the different angle on it, what happens was he's still floating. Instead of stopping and going straight up the block, he floats out. And on his way floating out, he lands on the other player's foot and twists his ankle.
Well, I tell you what, we got trainer Mike Gale down there, student trainer Ron Clark, and Dr. Bill Rutledge, an orthopod here in town, is right down there, so he's getting the best treatment he can. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be back, and Neil will be down to interview the player of the game.
You made it. Hey, I couldn't have gotten through physics without you.
Yeah, well, you're on your own at college.
It's not fair.
That's all right. I'm going to get a job, I'm going to start working, I'm going to save, and I'll be in college in another year or two.
So, what do you have planned, Mike?
I think we'll go home and make a sandwich.
Support the United Negro College Fund. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Vince, come on, we're late.
This headbag is finally going through a windshield.
Good night from Iron Maiden. Drive home safe. Remember to strap yourselves in with your safety belts. You don't want to end up like Eddie.
Belt up. Don't be a dummy.
Bonjour. French in Action, opening a new era in language learning. A television course in 52 lessons centers around a wonderful romantic comedy filmed entirely on location in France. The story of Mireille, Robert, Marie-Laure, and the mysterious man in black will help you to learn, to understand, and to speak French. Watch French in action.
After dating the guy forever, you think I could tell him anything. Why is this so hard? I'm really scared.
It takes a lot of guts to tell someone he's too drunk to drive. But you can do it. Just say it. Because if you don't, there may be nothing left to say.
Kevin, I'm gonna drive.
Take the keys, call a cab, take a stand. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
This is just one of the many parts you can play as a young Red Cross volunteer. Volunteer and play your part.
Welcome back to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of IPFW. IPF wins this big MIVA match to go 2-0 in the season. Ball State falls to 0-2. IPFW wins 15-11, 15-13, 15-13, but it ended on a little sour note. The last play of the game, Loy Ball twisted his ankle. I don't have an accident or injury report, but I do know that Loy went off on his own power. There you see the replay. He just stepped on the player right next to him and twisted his ankle. He did walk off on his own power, though, so we're a little bit encouraged by that. We're going to get ready to go down to the floor shortly here to interview the Danny Don player of the game, Norman Almodovar. We at IPFW are pleased to be able to bring you cablecast of NCAA athletic competition. We hope you've enjoyed the show and the excitement of intercollegiate sports from IPFW. To provide such programs, we need your support. With the help of many volunteers, we're able to produce these programs at a relatively low cost. Your contribution will help defray the production costs not covered by the Channel 6 budget. The College Cable Access Center invites you to invest in quality college programs. Your contribution to Channel 6 at IPFW, 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805. Please make your check out to the Indiana-Purdue Foundation in Fort Wayne and designate it for College Cable Access Athletics. We're ready to go down to the floor where Neil's interviewing our Danny Don player of the game, Norman Almodovar. Take it away, Neil.
We're back here at the Hilliard Gate Sports Center with player of the game, Danny Don, Norman Almodovar. Norman, it's kind of ironic on the last play of the game, Lloyd turned his ankle, and we still don't know how he's doing. But you have an ankle injury of your own. How did it feel tonight playing on it?
I was a little scared before the game because he was hurting quite a bit. But then as the match went on, I forgot the pain and I decided to play.
Okay, well, you showed a lot of character out there going out tonight playing with an injury. I know what it's like to play with a tough injury like that, but you really look good out there. You grimaced in pain, you had to get taken out once, but you showed a lot of heart by playing there. I think your other players sensed that as well. But one thing that really amazes me about you is the way you get fired up and bring the rest of your teammates into the game. I love it when you do that. I loved it when I was playing with you. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going through your mind when you're so intense on the court?
Well, before the match, I thought about Ball State, and since it was a conference match, we needed to win. We needed this victory to be 2-0 in the conference, and I haven't been part of the team for a while, and there have been some losses on our part, and I was a little tired of watching my team lose, and I decided to come ready to play and fire my team up to bring it to the victory.
Well, I tell you, nobody does it like you. I used to love playing with you because you did a great job at firing me up.
Thank you.
Now with this big win, okay, against Ball State, now we're 2-0 in the conference and we took them out in 3. What's that going to do for the rest of our season? Now that we've had a slump now, we've lost 7 or 8 matches. Now, is this going to help us?
I think that everybody worries about Ball State. If you don't know, Ball State got beat by Ohio State. I think Ohio State is a pretty much improving team. I think we need to worry about them as much as we worry about Ball State. We need to play against Ohio State like we did tonight. They're not any less players than Ball State. They have some pretty good players, and they're going to come ready to play. This puts us on a really good position because we're 2-0 and give us confidence. And we are kind of starting over just forgetting what is on the past, forgetting our losses, and starting over. So we started over with a victory.
Well, like you said, Ohio State's a tough team. Now it's a race between us and them for the championship of the MIVA during the regular season. And with this big win, like you said, it's a new beginning for us. Now, hopefully we can get over the injuries. We got a new one tonight. But you guys have done a really good job of healing from your injuries and playing with the pain. And you guys have a lot of heart, and good luck to you for the rest of the year. You keep doing that great job of firing us up and playing great like you did tonight, and we're going to be just fine.
Thank you
good
very
job.
much, Neil.
Back to the booth, back up to the booth, and you, Dan, with the report on the game.
Okay, again, IPFW winning tonight against the Ball State University Cardinals to go 2-0 in the MIVA. They win 3 games to 0, 15-11, 15-13, 15-13. Early reports on Volleyball's injury are that it's not too serious, but they'll take a closer look at it as they take him down into the training room. Tune in tomorrow to see the IPFW men's and women's basketball teams take on the Lewis University Flyers in live action here on Channel 6. And we'll give you a status report at that time on the injury to Lloyd. We'd like to take this time to thank the Channel 6 volunteer crew and the Learning Resource Center at IPFW for their contributions to the live production of our volleyball match this evening. This College Cable Access sports presentation is underwritten in part by a grant from the Cable Access Incorporated of Fort Wayne, Indiana. The telecast of this IPFW sporting event is copyrighted and the sole property of the College Cable Access Center and IPFW. Unauthorized copying, exhibition, retransmission, rebroadcast, or other use of this event without express written consent is strictly prohibited. Don't forget to tune in to Channel 6 tomorrow evening at 6 for the GLVC basketball action as IPFW hosts the women's and men's teams from Lewis University. For Neil Day, this is Dan Gebhardt. Good night.